A certain elderly lady, Vera Koking, owned a small home hotel in the center of Atlantic City. A poor widow, she lived almost all her life in this house. When the gambling business came to the city, several developers at once wanted to buy Vera's hotel in order to build a casino on this place. Penthouse magazine publisher Bob Guccione was the first to show interest. He offered $1 million for the widow's land, but Vera didn't make a deal. Following him appeared Donald Trump, who tried to bargain based on the fair market price of her property. But he also failed. After more than 10 years of fruitless tricks, litigation and media hype, the billionaire surrendered and completed the Trump Plaza so that he surrounded the Vera Koking Hotel on 3 sides. Edith Maysfield has become a true national hero, and her centennial home is still located in Ballard, Seattle. 14 years ago, a woman was offered $1 million for a house, but she did not agree. Edith Maysfield settled in this house back in 1966. Literally a few years later, Seattle, like all of America, was absorbed in the construction boom. To all attempts by developers to buy an American's desire to live in this place, she safely refused. It got to the point that in 2006 she was offered $1 million. But the persistent Edith did not give up. As a result, builders had to redraw their projects. Her house has even become an object that must be visited during excursions in Seattle. Subsequently, her image became the basis for the cartoon, Up. After the accident at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, cities and villages that fell into the zone of radiation infection were urgently evacuated. Permanent residence there is still prohibited. Apartments in Kiev are allocated to the local population, but not everyone settled in the capital. Someone stayed, but someone still preferred to return home. Most often these were old people who did not want to leave their native lands. It was difficult for them to start life in a new place. Therefore, they chose even a short life, but in their own land. Some initially refused to abandon their land, others returned later and helped to liquidate the consequences of the disaster. Their houses were demolished. Food had to be stocked up for the future. The shops did not work. The entire population here is about 300 people. Now every year there are less and less homeowners. Sometimes there is one person for one abandoned village. It is scary to imagine how people can live alone in such conditions. And before, the number of self-owners reached 1,200 people.